What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review of Southern Charm New Orleans season 2 episode 8. So let me say this, you guys. Um we picked this episode. Go ahead and click my go ahead and hit like. Hope you like this video. I can't get it out. Anyway, we start this episode off with we're still at Friendsgiving, and we left off with the whole explosive. You know when they don't have enough footage, when they got to rerun the last 3 minutes just to pick up where we left off, but neither here nor there. Um, we pick up with Jeff, throws the stuff on the floor because he's irritated with Tamika because he's like, Tamika, are you calling me a liar? Like, I'm telling you, I didn't know. You knew. Jeff, you knew. Jeff, you knew. Jeff, you knew. And see, again, Tamika, sometimes it's your delivery because I think what you meant to say was you knew, but I think you saw Tamika sort of talk herself out of it as she was talking, but her reasoning was, well, because Reagan said that y'all tell each other everything, so you knew about it, right? Because if y'all tell each other everything, then you knew about her being pregnant. Tamika, you going by what Reagan said, and clearly Reagan tells y'all what she wants y'all to know, not necessarily what you need to know. And she probably does the same thing with Jeff. So they end up basically telling Jeff, look, we sick of this. We are sick of the drama. We are sick of the roller coaster. And we want to get off. And, they're like, look, we love Reagan, but at the end of the day, we're tired of this back and forth. And, we want you to move on. We want you to just process out of this. So they end up having a good time. And everybody, by the end of the night, everybody was back to laughing and having a good time where they started. And Barry was sort of like, hey, this is where we used to be. Like, this is how we used to be. And of course, they showed clips from last season where everybody was happy and getting along. So then it was Thanksgiving, and it was also Tamika's birthday. And so they showed clips of people with Thanksgiving. And I noticed that Jeff actually spent the actual Thanksgiving day with Justin and his family. So that was cool that he was with one of them on, Thanksgiving. Then we have a scene with Reagan and Tamika. Here's what I think is so fucking ridiculous about some of this stuff. Reagan, you are no, I rewind. Then we have Reagan called Jeff. Doug, you messy. Whoever this Doug guy is, he's messy. Because Doug was the same one that told Jeff right before they were getting ready to eat that Reagan was pregnant because he didn't want him to find out about it from somebody else. Then on the flip side of that, called Reagan and was like, well, I don't want you to start hearing about what happened. It's not my place to tell you. You need to talk to Jeff. See, you getting too involved in they business. They didn't bring you into that. So you gonna tell Jeff, almost ruin his evening to tell him about what's going on with Reagan when you could have held on to that to the end of the night and told him at the end of the night. Then you're gonna run to Reagan and be like, oh, you might want to find out what happened. I can't tell you. Ask him. Like, you want that drama. So anyway, I don't know. Y'all might want to reevaluate that friendship, but neither here nor there. So then we see Reagan and Tamika. Yeah, I keep wanting to go to that Reagan and Tamika conversation. So Reagan called Jeff and, well, Doug told me I need to talk to you. What's going on? What's that all about? And Jeff was just like, look, I had my friends giving over here. Well, who was there? He was like, everybody. Basically, everybody but you and Reese. Well, that's not fair. What's not fair about it, Reagan? What's not fair? Y'all are divorced. Y'all are no longer together. You have clearly moved on with your life. Why can't he have an event at his house that involves his friends? Clearly, it didn't conflict. It would be different if you had another event scheduled for that night and the friends had to make a choice. You wasn't doing nothing. You was at your house planning your wedding with your soon-to-be husband, baby daddy. So, other than the fact that y'all weren't invited, what was unfair about it? So you want your cake and you want to eat it too, and that's the part that bothers me about you, Miss Reagan. Now I'm gonna get to the conversation between you and Tamika, because once again, you want your cake and eat it too. So you talking to Tamika. You totally missed Tamika's birthday. You didn't call or text her on her birthday. And you were like, yeah, I know, but that's why we're here now. Because they went out to lunch. No, one don't have nothing to do with the other. You're my friend. I don't care how estranged we are. I don't care how much I haven't talked to you in the last couple of weeks. If you call me your friend and you're interested in maintaining this friendship, then at the very least on my birthday, you shoot me a text. At the very least. You ain't got to call me. Shoot me a happy birthday text. Hell, people on Facebook get that. Just shoot me a little text. But for you to be like, oh, well, that's why we're here now. No. No, that's not why we're here now. Mm-mm. So They get to talking, and Reagan is like, well, Jeff had, and I just feel like I'm losing all my friends, and I just feel like, I'm on the outside now, and I feel like I don't know what's going on, and you haven't told me anything. I don't even know if you're in my wedding. And Tamika showed her text messages. She was like, I ain't heard from Reagan in 3 weeks or however long it's been. All I got was a picture of a dress from her, and I said to her, "Is that the bridesmaid's dress?" She said, "Yep, in champagne." And that is the only conversation that they have had in months. But you want to know where I've been. You want to know why you feel like you're on the outside looking in. You want to know why you don't know what's going on with everybody. And so then Tamika says to her, she said, Reagan, you pulled back from us, and now you want to come back around. Like, you can't have it both ways. She was like, well, I mean, I know, and maybe I handled things, maybe I didn't handle things correctly, but I'm here now. See, it don't work like that, Reagan. You don't get to cut your friends off, and then when you get to feeling lonely or things in your life slow down, and you come from up underneath your cocoon that you've created for yourself, for you and Reese, now everybody's supposed to just come back around and just be here and be all team Reagan. So then Tamika tells Reagan, look, I don't know if I can stand up at your wedding. I don't know if I can participate in your wedding. I don't know this dude. I don't know this guy. I don't know if he's a good guy. I don't know anything about him. And for that, Tamika, I can appreciate that, Tamika, because I think a lot of people get caught up. I think a lot of people get caught up and forget what these positions in weddings really are about. When you ask people to be in your bridal party, you are asking them to stand up for you in this wedding and stand up for you in this marriage. And I think people forget exactly what it's all about. I, once upon my best friend, I love her to death. To this day, I love her to death. But she is she's agnostic, meaning she believes in some sort of spiritual, but she doesn't necessarily believe in God per se. Because she doesn't totally not believe in God, but well, no, anyway, neither here nor there. I ain't gonna get into her spiritual beliefs, but I always said if I had a church wedding, she couldn't be my maid of honor, because the purpose of it is that you're standing before God for me. And if you don't believe that there's a God, why are you here? And people were like, that's me. No, it's not. Like, that's how I believe. So I understand what Tamika's coming from, to say, look, you have totally, like, a couple of weeks ago told me, that it ain't had nothing to do with me and to mind my business and this, that, and the other. So that's what I'm doing. And then of course Reagan wanted to play selective memory. I didn't say that. I didn't say it like that. Tamika was like, no, you really did, and you hurt my feelings because you made it seem like I was out of line or I wanted something that I didn't have a right to want. And now all of a sudden now you come running back. And so I guess at the end of the conversation, they agreed to sort of try to start like communicating and working on their friendship again or whatever. But again, I don't think Reagan really truly understands her actions. And she said, Tamika was like, you only care about yourself. And she was like, because I spent the last 3 years only caring about other people. No, AKA Jeff. Like, don't take out on your whole friend circle what you and Jeff went through. Like, it's not their fault that you felt like you lost yourself in your marriage to Jeff. A marriage that you didn't want to begin with, that you only married that man to make another man jealous. But that's a whole nother conversation. I've already talked about that. Reese went to dinner with his mother. It looked like it was breakfast, actually. And basically that conversation boiled down to his mother telling him, look, don't stop playing with Kelsey. She said, don't waste a woman's time. She said, I think you're waiting for perfect, and there is no such thing. Like, I think you put so much pressure on yourself for you to be the perfect man, her to be the perfect woman, and that just don't exist. But if that's not what you want, or you're not sure about what you want, you need to let Kelsey know, because you don't need to be playing games with her time. Hunter. All right, Hunter buried Tamika. This whole situation. Hunter, they said probation. I say punishment, but whatever. He was on probation from getting that speeding ticket. And basically Tamika let him go out to eat. Oh Lord, go out with friends. No. Barry let him go out with friends after work, because he's working at the gym to work off the ticket or whatever. And Tamika was like, so you let him, he's on probation. So basically you let him off probation without talking to me about it. Now, Tamika didn't say, give me permission. Tamika didn't say, ask me my permission. She said, talking to me about it. And Barry seemed to feel like Tamika didn't have a right to feel that way. And I'm like, No, Tamika has every right to feel that way. If y'all are in a marriage together and y'all are raising this child together, and y'all have made a decision as a couple that he's going to be on probation, then yeah, if you decide to let that probation punishment over before y'all agreed on it, yeah, I think you owe me that much courtesy to have a conversation with me about it. Now, Barry seems to feel like because he was the one that put Hunter on probation, that he could take Hunter off without having to talk to Tamika about it. But I don't agree with that. I feel like, and Tamika made up a good point. She said, "See, that's why the kids know that they can go to you and get a different answer than if they come to me." She was like, "I get it. I know I'm a little over the top, and I know I'm a little extra, and you balance me, but that doesn't mean that we can't talk about it or that we shouldn't talk to each other about it before we make a decision. Once we've made a decision." And I agree 100%. And once again, Tamika feels like Barry needs to talk to his son about out out here driving and just basically life being a black man in America. And she was like, "Look, he is 16. We got 2 years tops before we send him off to college. And even if he goes to college in the city or in the state where he doesn't have to do a whole lot of commuting and traveling, at the end of the day, he's still not going to be under their supervision 24 hours a day." And again, y'all know like grand with Tamika too much, but Tamika has a valid point. And that is a conversation that needs to happen. It is a very valid point. Um, I'm sorry. Whew, excuse me, sorry, y'all. John, y'all know John. Well, I can't think of John's last name, but the artist, the one who we make fun of we make fun of, his clothing choices, but he is definitely a talented artist. I really wish one day to be able to afford afford some of his art. He actually had a competition on his Instagram where you could win a piece of art that he did. I think one of the pieces of art that he did for this episode. But neither here nor there. Definitely a talented artist. We see him working with some youth, working for a program, Sons of Saint. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Son of Saint, and it deals with young boys who come from a household with no father. And he was doing an art exhibit and he wanted to put a piece of living art. So he had the kids act out certain scenarios that they run into in the city. He was like, Louisiana, New Orleans has some great things, but it also has some not so great things. And he was like, a lot of people want to just focus on the great things about Louisiana or vice versa, only focus on the bad. And so he had them sort of act out scenarios of getting picked up by the police or being shot. And it was one very, very, very powerful moment where they acted out a scene with a boy getting shot in the head. And I mean, you could hear the air come out of the room. And I thought these young boys did such a great job with that. And I think that the art that went along with it was so phenomenal. It was a great moment. It was actually a really great moment. And we find out that John does come from a pretty privileged household. His dad works for NASA. His mom was a computer teacher. He came from a two-parent household. So he said, but that doesn't mean that, he said, I believe in these, in working with the community, giving back and working with these young men. And you could tell that that was something that meant something to him. John be on joke time sometime, but he definitely is very talented. And when I feel like when he is doing something connected to his art, he's very serious. And I think he did a really good job working with these young men. So commendable, commendable. We'll get to the actual exhibit later because that comes later on in the episode. Reagan and Rachel sit down. So Reagan is making her apology tour. So she's called Rachel up and to apologize to Rachel about basically not being a good friend and being absent or whatever. And Rachel says to her, she was like, "Look, I'll accept your apology as long as it ain't for Gacy." Rachel was like, "What does that mean?" Meaning it ain't fake. Like, don't come around and apologize now because you found out we doing shit without you. Because you found out that that people are moving on with their life without you. Don't come around apologizing now. Don't apologize if you don't mean it and if you're not really trying to work on getting us back to where we are. I really want that. I really want that. I don't, I'm sorry, that I let my life, just get away from us. I really want to work on that. I really want us to be back to being friends and all that good stuff. Um, okay. I just want to make sure I got everything because I had to take notes, y'all. So we get to the exhibit again. I already talked about how great the art was and the living art part of it. It was really great. But we see there that Rachel also lets um Reagan know that they're actually planning on going on a trip to Destin. She invited everybody to come to Destin, and they're going on a trip to Destin. Um she said, but and I want you to come, but one, Jeff is going to be there, and two, I don't want Reese there. I don't want the drama. I don't want the tension, So if you can't come without him, then I don't necessarily want you, I don't want you coming if you can't come alone. And I understood her reasoning for it, but I don't know. I don't know if I would Reese how I would feel about it, but I definitely understood her reasoning for it. I definitely understood that. So there's a certain point in the evening where Rachel is talking to Reese, and they're having a conversation. And I think had the conversation continued to go on, I think it would have gotten to some other situations. But on the surface, it really didn't get that far. Reagan comes over and is like, "What are you guys talking about? I mean, is this a positive conversation? I mean, it looked like Reese. It looked like you were upset." And Reese was like, "Nah, that's how I always look," because she's a dumbass. "Nah, that's how I always look." And Reagan was like, "See, that pisses me." I mean, Rachel was like, "See, that pisses me off. Why would you assume that because I'm over here talking to him, it's something negative or something I'm upsetting him about? Like, why would you automatically jump to a conclusion?" But see, what it boils down to is Reagan don't want them alone with Reese because Reagan don't want them comparing notes. That's what it boils down to. So Reagan walked up there all nervous trying to figure out what the hell they were talking about. Because what you don't want them to do is start putting that damn timeline together. And what you don't want him to do is start talking about when he didn't talk to you and when he hadn't talked to you. Because what I feel like is you put a couple of drinks in Reese, take a couple of shots with Reese, you can get Reese to tell you anything you want to know. And Reese going to start talking about how much he's really talked to Reagan over these last, how long her and Jeff been married, 6 years. And when him and Reagan really rekindled their relationship and what really went down when they broke up 6 years ago when she married Jeff. See, that's what really is what it is. So Reagan walked over there looking nervous as hell because see, she don't know what the conversation is, and that tells me you got something to hide. Because why in the hell would you have a problem? If anything, you would think that she would be happy to see that Rachel was taking time to get to know Reese, but you walked over there all nervous. So Rachel got pissed off and let her know, see, that pisses me off. You didn't piss me off because why would you automatically jump to the negative? Why would you automatically assume that that there's something wrong going on over here? So, Reese did the church finger and tipped on out of it. Tamika comes over, Lord, she done brought Kelsey with her. And Kelsey gonna say, because at first Rachel was like, ain't nothing wrong, ain't nothing wrong. And then I think, and Tamika was like, look, either y'all gonna tell me what y'all talking about or we ain't gonna talk about, like, what's really going on. But Rachel went on to reiterate what happened. So Kelsey gonna say, well, I really don't want to say a whole lot because me and Tamika just got cool again. She was like, but maybe Reagan didn't really mean it the way it came out. Nah, Reagan meant that. I already told you why Reagan got upset. So then Tamika and Rachel sort of kind of were going back and forth with Reagan. And see, and then Reagan did that woe is me, I'm a damsel in distress shit. I'm sorry. I just don't want it. Why are we making this such a big deal? I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Why are y'all making this such a big deal? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Why? Because you need to understand what it is about your actions that pisses people off and why they're wrong. You need to understand that. And they're trying to get you to understand that. But she went straight into victim mode. Now all of a sudden you're a victim. Now you're crying again. They're coming at you. They're picking on you. They're ganging up on you. And next thing you know, she done went over to Reese crying, talking about something. She was ready to go. Reese was like, well, I just ordered a wine. He was like, he was like, sit down, have some water. Just chill out for a minute. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Well, I just ordered some wine. Can you at least can you sit with me while I drink my wine? No, I'm ready to go now, Reese. I'm ready to go now. And so they end up leaving. I need to be near my doctor because I'm really upset. I don't feel well right now. Girl, you ain't even showing yet. Calm your ass down. And I'm not, no, I rewind. Let me take that back. Let me take that back. Because she could be upset. And we know that anything can happen. Any stress, it could be a problem. So let me rewind. I mean, granted, she had a very healthy baby. But let me rewind. That wasn't nice. I'll stop. But for real, stop playing, stop jumping to victim the minute somebody says something you don't like or puts you or pull or calls you on your shit. Now all of a sudden you're a victim and everybody's picking on you. That's the same thing you did with Jeff earlier on in the episode when you found out when your friend called you, because I don't believe he didn't tell you what happened. I believe he gave you the play by play. And then you called Jeff talking about something. That's just not fair, Jeff. That's not fair, Jeff. And she started crying on the phone with Jeff. And Jeff was just like, and at the party, the art exhibit, she tried to roll up on Jeff, and Jeff was like, "Yeah, I see Reagan here, and I'm gonna just do what my doctor said. I'm gonna set my boundaries, and I'm gonna keep my peace." And when Reagan was talking to him, he was giving her the one word answers, and when she was trying to like keep the conversation going, he wasn't even doing it with her. He was like, "Yep, I'm good. It was nice. I had a good Thanksgiving." He wasn't even like, "And you? Oh, how are you doing?" He wasn't doing none of that shit. He was just like, "Well, I'm good." But see, that's what you got to do, Jeff. And I hope you stick to it. We're going to see how things go down in Destin, though, because I feel like some shit went down. But anyway, let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.